Have you ever noticed that when you are not around, he seems to feel your absence even more deeply? Today, we're exploring the fascinating psychology behind why men often start missing you more when distance comes into play. Whether it's after a breakup, a brief separation, or simply less frequent contact, there are powerful emotional triggers at work that can make your absence feel more significant than you might expect. One of the most compelling reasons is the very nature of proximity. When you're together every day, your presence can become almost invisible, a constant background that, over time, fades into the routine. This phenomenon, often referred to as the psychological distance effect, works much like background noise. In the comfort of constant togetherness, it's easy for a man to take you for granted, to overlook the little things that once seemed so precious. But when distance suddenly intervenes, even for a short while, that familiar presence is replaced by silence. In those quiet moments, he begins to reflect on all the small details, your laugh, the warmth in your eyes, the way you listened when he needed to vent, and that reflection sparks a longing he might not have felt before. Think about it this way: when something is always available, its value tends to diminish over time. This is the principle of scarcity at work. In a relationship, if you're constantly there, it's hard for him to appreciate your unique qualities fully. However, when you create a little space, by being less available or simply taking a break, suddenly your presence becomes rare and precious. The scarcity of your time makes every moment you spent together shine in a new light, turning what was once taken for granted into a coveted memory. It's not that you change, it's that the context shifts, and he starts to see just how much he values what he has. Another layer to this emotional puzzle emerges during times of challenge. Life is unpredictable, and stress or setbacks can leave anyone feeling vulnerable. When a man faces difficulties, be it in his career, personal life, or even health, he often looks back on the comfort and stability that once defined your relationship. During these moments of hardship, the absence of your reassuring support becomes painfully obvious. The familiar sense of security you provided now seems like a lifeline he desperately needs. In trying times, the memories of your companionship, your encouraging words, and the simple routines you shared start to carry an even deeper significance. Then there's the power of silence, a tool that can be as profound as any spoken word. Imagine a situation where, instead of constant communication, there's a deliberate pause. You stop texting, calling, or engaging as frequently as before. This silence can spark curiosity and even a bit of self-reflection. Without your voice filling the gaps, he's left alone with his thoughts. In that quiet space, he begins to wonder, what are you up to? How are you really feeling? And most importantly, does he miss the sound of your laughter or the comfort of your presence? This uncertainty can stir a complex mix of emotions, sometimes transforming indifference into a powerful longing. Often, the moment of truth arrives when he finally realizes that you've moved on. Whether you've started dating someone new or are simply thriving on your own, watching you embrace life without him can be a wake-up call. It's as if your happiness and growth serve as a mirror, reflecting back to him all that he once cherished but now risks losing. In that moment, regret can creep in. The thought that he might have taken you for granted suddenly becomes impossible to ignore, and what was once familiar now feels irreplaceable. Nostalgia also plays a significant role in this emotional equation. Over time, people naturally tend to remember the best parts of their experiences. Even if a relationship had its ups and downs, the mind has a way of highlighting the joyous, laughter-filled moments while downplaying the struggles. When he's apart from you, memories of shared adventures, inside jokes, and intimate conversations can flood his mind. These recollections aren't just pleasant, they're a bittersweet reminder of what once was, making him yearn for the connection he had, even if it wasn't perfect. Unresolved emotions can further deepen this sense of loss. Sometimes, there are words left unsaid, apologies never made, or feelings that never got a chance to be fully explored. this lingering sense of incompleteness can weigh heavily on his mind. He might not always understand why he feels this void, but there's an undeniable pull, a feeling that something essential is missing. When emotions remain unresolved, they have a way of festering until the pain of absence turns into a profound longing. And then, there's the inspiring element of growth. When you continue to evolve, whether that means pursuing new hobbies, advancing in your career, or simply becoming more confident, you inadvertently remind him of what he's missing. Witnessing your progress from afar can spark a mix of admiration and regret. It's a clear sign that you're moving forward, thriving, and perhaps leaving behind a part of the past that he never truly appreciated. This realization can trigger a competitive instinct, making him question his own choices and feel a deep-seated longing to be part of that journey. The little details, too, add up in a big way. It might be the way you used to send those thoughtful morning messages, the unique way you made his coffee just right, or even the shared silence during a quiet evening together. These everyday moments, often overlooked when you're together, become glaringly absent when you're not around. Over time, this absence accumulates into a void that he may find increasingly difficult to ignore. At its core, this dynamic is a delicate balance between presence and absence, familiarity and mystery. It's the interplay of these forces that makes human relationships so intriguing, and sometimes so painful. Every interaction, every memory, and every moment of growth builds a tapestry of connection that only becomes fully appreciated when it's missing. In the absence of your constant presence, he is forced to confront what he once took for granted. It's a slow-burning realization that hits hardest when everything else seems to be falling apart. So, why do men start missing you more when you're away? It's a complex cocktail of psychology, the fading of everyday familiarity, the allure of scarcity, the reflective impact of personal challenges, and the nostalgic power of cherished memories. It's about the interplay between unresolved feelings and the stark reminder of what once was. And perhaps, most poignantly, it's about the realization that the person who once brought stability, comfort, and joy into his life has now become an irreplaceable part of his past. If you've ever experienced that moment when absence makes the heart grow fonder, you know it's not just about missing someone, it's about recognizing their true value only when they're no longer within reach. Embrace these insights as a reminder of your own worth, and let them guide you toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Remember, the essence of any connection lies not in constant presence, but in the lasting impact of shared moments. Cherish those memories, and understand that sometimes, the greatest lesson in love is learning to appreciate what you have before it slips away.